Every yard, every hit, every second. It's earned out here. This game demands more than just skill. It demands fuel. The right fuel. Cause out here it's not just about how hard you work. It's about how long you keep going. When the game gets real, drink bottle still.
Welcome in and welcome back to week number 2 in the OUA football season. Connor, it is Labor Day weekend, which is always a hallmark in Canadian football for great games. And quite frankly, we have a few of them here this week. So let's just dive right in. Our marquee matchup this week is actually getting the Sunday night football treatment. That is the Guelph Griffins heading out to London to face off against the Western Mustangs on their Frosh Week game. Connor, it's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be loud. But these are two of the top teams in the OUA facing off this early in the year. We are getting a huge, huge, huge present.
Man, this is going to be a very exciting football game. Obviously, the Guelph Griffins looking to bounce back after that loss last week to the Laurier Golden Hawks and the Western Mustangs coming off that quadruple overtime game. The thing to watch for in this one, we pointed this out in the recap episode, will Evan Hillock be under center? That remains to be seen, but Wade, regardless of who's under center, Jerome Rancourt showed that he can come in and win the game when it's on the line. I am very, very confident in either quarterback situation, no matter who it's going to be this Sunday.
And on the flip side, Connor, can the Western defense slow down Tristan Aboud? I mean, you watch this guy go lights out against Laurier, and it felt like they were really sleepwalking through the first quarter. He has a ton of weapons at his disposal. We did not see much Marshall McCray, even though he was on their depth chart, um, which was something that we heard, like, he's going to have packages. Well, when Tristan Abloud plays that well through the air and on the ground, it's really hard to get him those touches because he is dealing so well. But, Tessier, Arsenault, Malloy, Sargent, Smith, whatever combination of playmakers are around Tristan Aboud, even Matt Stam, the true freshman, got a few touches on specials, so maybe he starts to integrate in. Connor, I think Guelph's offense can hit another level from what we saw last week, as impressive as it was against a stout Laurier defense. But this one to me has the makings of an offensive shootout. At the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if we see these defenses kind of say, whoa, whoa, 42 points, 33 points, not really what we're used to. Let's start to tighten this up a bit. And as we go through the year, we'll see those defenses do that. But Rancourt, Hillock, Aboud, McCray, quarterbacks aplenty, playmakers aplenty. I'm excited for this one in London.
Yeah, certainly. Tune in to OUA TV to watch this one. Tune into all the OUA games, but let's run down the rest of this weekend's affairs. The Queens Gales, talking about teams that need a bounce back win. Queens in that quadruple overtime game, they took it to the wire, but they are going to the Hammer to take on the McMaster Marauders, another team looking for a bounce back after they suffered a week one loss at the hands of the York Lions. What are you looking for in this one? Is it Vreeken to keep stepping up? Is it the McMaster team to step up in this one? Thalman to step up? What are we watching for?
I'm gonna really look at Queen's run game here. They really didn't get much consistently going. They had a couple nice runs. As this RPO style starts to really ramp up, I'm expecting a lot more Russell Weir this week. Quite frankly, he's been, to me, the most versatile playmaker in this offense. Put the ball in Vreek's hands, let him either get it out to Weir, or the run game is going to open up cutback lanes when they start to hit these RPOs. I'd really like to see that run game for Queens get going. What about you with McMaster? Because to me, this is where we started talking about that panic button, that emergency exit is going to start to be hit. Do we see McMaster start to throw some things at the wall like your Gigi's did, where it's like a trick play here or there to jumpstart the offense?
Yeah, honestly, like I'm just looking for that, a jump start for this offense, for this team in general. They played a tight game down to the wire with the York Lions, but I want to see them start finishing out and sustaining some of those long drives.
Yeah, agreed. We talked about that in the recap, right? They just couldn't really finish and didn't know how to close the game. That's going to come with experience. I expect Mac to play a really strong game against Queens, but to me, I'd love to see these offenses just kind of take that next level. A young quarterback in Thalman who clearly has talent, and Alex Freakin, a veteran quarterback that's finally starting off the year on a positive note.
100%. I'm excited for that one. Excited to see where that one goes. Let's go to the 4 o'clock game. Two 1-0 teams going at it, the York Lions and the Ottawa GGs. Obviously, we talked about York at length in that recap episode. Ottawa as well played a good ball game against the Waterloo Warriors. Now I want to see them take it to the next level in this one. You know, you know, Waterloo played them tight. We talked about how Waterloo just struggled to find and put points on the board. Ottawa in this one, Charles Aslan is obviously the guy. He is their pure playmaker on the field. So I'm going to be looking at the York defense in this one. What are they going to do to limit his touches? What are they going to do to limit his scoring ability? And they have the playmakers on that side of the ball to do so at York.
For me, Connor, this game is about the same thing, but flip side of the ball. Ottawa has to get this ground game going with Charles Asselin. The amount of pressure you're going to see from a Greg Knox defense, you cannot just throw the ball all game long. You have to start sustaining something with your number one playmaker by getting the ball in his hands. That good old adage we talk about of 30 touches for Charles, that's going to be very true, I think, this week. And as tough as that defense was in the red zone for Ottawa, I don't think Keegan Hall is going to have the same red zone struggles that Orr and Miller and Springer all did for Waterloo. So this offense for the GGs is definitely going to have to kick it up and come out of the gate swinging to start this week.
As will their defense, because we touched on Keegan Hall there. He knows how to sling the rock. They are a very diverse offense this year. This is a different York Lions team than we have seen of years past. And to boot, a little bit of a younger defensive unit for these Ottawa GGs. This is I want to say, a bit of a veteran York Lions offense, but they know how to move the ball. So it is going to be, to me, dictated by who has the better defensive day.
Two more games, Connor. The Windsor Lancers kicking off their season at the Laurier Golden Hawks. Laurier with their home opener. I expect Cal Wither to get going, but to me, Windsor, this team has to find a passing attack. And when we talked to Coach JP about, a lot of the guys, it's just been injured. Whenever we try to get something going in the pass game, well, the week one bye, you're going to start healthy. This would be the week of any to not have the injury bug hurt that quarterback room and start off the season strong. But for me, Laurier, LaQuintana, and Co on defense, this is where they're going to really bounce back. I don't think they were too happy with the performance they laid out last week, even though they looked pretty solid through most of the game. I expect the home crowd, the stadium's going to be bumping for Laurier. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh, it absolutely will. And Ethan Jordan has not gone anywhere, had a darn day in the season opener for Laurier. So I'm also going to be looking at the Windsor defense. What are they going to do to shut him down? We talked about Laurier getting their ground game going as well. This is going to be a defensive test for those Windsor Lancers. So I want to see how they're, and what do we talk about in football, right, Wade? Defenses and run games travel. We know Windsor has the ability to move the rock between the trenches, between the tackles. But how is their defense going to limit the offensive capabilities of this Michael Falls, Cal Wither offense with the Laurier Golden Hawks?
Final game, my alma mater, the University of Toronto Varsity Blues 1-0, a record-breaking performance for Scott Barnett and Chris Joseph. The electric pair will certainly look to keep that going. This game, though, establishing some kind of physicality on the offensive line for both of these teams. We know Waterloo wants to run the ball, but Toronto can't go through this season just passing 45 plus times a game and expecting to, beat the world breakers or make the playoffs with that formula. It's not going to last in a long physical season when you start breaking down and getting injured along those trenches. So look for them to take some of the pressure off of Barnett and Co. in the pass game, but if I'm Toronto, man, is it ever tempting when you throw 600 yards to double down the next week and keep it going. Similar to Western Frosh Week game, this stadium's going to be packed at varsity. I'm expecting the DA Bowl to have a ton of energy between both sides. A lot of players know Coach DA from Waterloo. DA and a lot of the coaches from Toronto, of course, have that connection to Coach Bertoya as well. So an emotional game, but Waterloo's looking to get back in the win column. Toronto, expect them to try and establish some run game, but man, if you can't stop that passing attack, they might just lean right into it for another week.
I wouldn't be shocked, like you're saying, if they go out and try to do this again. 600 yards in week one. Why not go try to do this again? But for Waterloo, a bit of a get right game, right? Like, and with this get right game, staying on the theme of defense this week, what are they going to do to force Toronto to play left-handed? Because this is one of the things that we pointed out in that Gigi's game between the Warriors and Ottawa that Waterloo really did well and that we really liked. For all intents and purposes, they really took away a lot of Ottawa's identity through Charles Asselin. He didn't quite get the touches that we normally see him get, and they did a really good job of doing that. So obviously, I want to see that defense come out firing again because we were very high on their ability in that game. Now, the other side of this coin is your defense can play as good as it wants, but your offense needs to give you a little bit of help, right? So I want to see the Waterloo Warriors not lean on their kicker so much to score pretty much all of their points as they did last week. I want to see them start finding the end zone, use their playmakers, use their young guys, use their speed, and use that weight room ability, bully ball, like we were talking about with Coach Burt. And we know they have the firepower to do so. It's just how are we going to put this together in week 2 to allow them to start scoring points?
That's it for this week's slate of games. Enjoy your long weekend. Enjoy the first weekend of university if you're someone heading back up to campus. For parents, enjoy dropping off and maybe having an empty nest once again after the summer. But you can check out all these games if you're not in person on OUA.tv. These games are phenomenal. They're going to be high scoring at some point. They're going to be entertaining. We got 4 overtimes in the first week of the season. Imagine what we can do the rest of the year. It's going to be a great, great, great long weekend of football, whether it's CFL, U Sports, Can West, RSEC, or AUS. But tune into the OUA, the biggest conference, the best conference in our opinion. It's great to go. Let's have a good weekend and enjoy.
100%. Labor Day football is always fun. Before we close it out, stay hydrated, keep your body right, make sure you're getting your BioSteel India. BioSteel is a great product, sponsor of the OUA. We love it. We drink it. Let's go watch the football.